Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time you happen to be tuning in. I'm Terry. I'm recording this so that you can see the person that's been ordering you around for the last couple of weeks. I'm at my fabulous apartment where I've been staying home for the last couple of weeks or months, and thought I'd give you a picture of me and what I've been up to, among other things, making masks for family members. And I wanted to share this with you. That's my new granddaughter. She was born April 7th. I have yet to get to touch her or see her thanks to COVID-19. She's just a Facebook entity for me right now, but still lots of fun. Very proud grandma. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about composition again. And to do that, I need to bring this up. And I'm going to pull me down here in the corner and then go from start. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to size me down again. Okay. Here we go. All right, I wanted to talk about the rule of thirds and start with this picture of Mount St. Helens. My son curses me every time he sees it. We were out spending the day having an adventure and both of us taking photos, and he had a beautiful DSLR Canon camera with tripods and filters and everything, and he's taking these glorious shots of the mountains. I am tripping around using my Galaxy S6 camera and bending over and just kind of taking shots blind, and I happened to catch this. So I brought it over to him and showed him, and he cursed me because he said he'd never thought about putting something in the foreground, and putting something in the foreground helped give you context as to how big the mountain is and that kind of thing. He was just shooting it with that tree line in the foreground, and it didn't give you a concept of how big the mountain is. So I love that I got to best my son. I'm always going to feel that way. I wanted to show you that it does follow the rule of thirds. The tree line is just under the upper horizontal. The flowers, which are the big focal point, run along that third line, vertical third line. So not perfect, but pretty damn close. I wanted to show you the rule of thirds is everywhere. This is a photo from the Yakima Herald sports page, and notice how the two girls in the front both run along those vertical lines. The basketball kind of almost intersects with the horizontal vertical line, and their heads are following along that upper horizontal line. So everything's kind of captured in that one picture, with the important things hitting those third lines. This is an old magazine cover, but it's true for any magazine cover you bring up. Notice how Diana's eyes are right at the intersection of those vertical and horizontal thirds. Great painters follow the rule of thirds. This is Picasso. The man's nose and head are perpendicular to the upper horizontal line. His body and the guitar kind of follow along that vertical line. This is called the Scream. It does not follow the rule of thirds. And that's one of the things why you should break the rule of thirds every once in a while. By not following the rule of thirds, it makes us feel a little offsetting. I mean, it's one of the components to it, the painting and the swirling and the face and that kind of thing. Add to it too, but not following the rule of thirds kind of makes it feel offsetting. By the way, this is supposed to be the inspiration for one of those horror movie villains. I can't remember which one. Last week we talked about composition, and these are a couple examples of leading lines that I took from my own photography. The very lush green one is a pathway down to the beach on the Washington coast. Around the corner is another house, to be honest, but there's a mystery to this. You don't see where it's going. Is it the land of gnomes? Are there fairies? Is it where Game of Thrones is? You know, you don't know, but there's some mystery that kind of helps bring, and that line helps bring you there. The other is the old roadway along the gorge, Columbia River Gorge, and the rail and the road kind of help pull you down to that one corner. And notice where the focal point is right about where the third lines would intersect, up in the upper left-hand third. Okay. Also framing. Look for framing opportunities. This one was with my son driving, and I happened to capture his image in the rearview mirror. I wish I got more of his chin, but it gives you the same idea. But also look for things that frame other things. The two cliffs around the Shoshone Falls and southeast Washington help to frame the falls, whereas taking the shot straight on maybe look a little flat. Also angle. These are redwoods in the California forest along Highway 101. When you shoot them straight on, they don't look nearly as massive as if you shoot them looking straight up from a low angle looking up. When you shoot something from a lower angle looking up, it makes things look bigger, stronger, more powerful than they really are. If you shoot from a lower angle, shooting down, makes things look smaller. That's what happened in, let's go to the picture of the little girl. That's my pseudo grandniece. I'm not going to explain the relationship, but my son took this picture of her, and she's at the end of her driveway. If he had shot straight on eye level with her, which I really encourage you to do when you're shooting kids, if he had, you would have seen the neighbors' camper, their cars, the basketball hoop in the driveway, that kind of thing. By shooting down, he eliminated a lot of the distractions and also made her look small, which is what she is. The other one is actually a color photo I shot of my son at the Oregon beach. And notice that the sky is all kind of blanked out so that it helps to pull him out and make him more stand out in the shot. I wish that rock wasn't coming out of his shoulders, but you can't arrange nature completely. Lighting is something that I'm trying to work on to make it work for me. The light just happened to be hitting these flowers at a park in Eugene, Oregon. And then that's a loaf of bread that I bought at a bakery in Kashmir. And notice how the way the light hits it, you can see the bubbles and the crustiness of it all. If I had just taken it outside and set it in direct sunlight, coming at it from all angles, it would have looked a little bit more flat. But here you can see kind of the texture of it all because of lighting. And sometimes you're just lucky. This is a shot that I took at the Vantage Bridge overlooking the Columbia River. This is from the Wild Stallion metal art roadside stop. And just as I pulled up, the clouds happened to break open and the light shined through and kind of shined down on the bridge. Kind of leading lines that help bring you to the bridge. Because obviously, right at first, that bright spot is where your eyes go to, and then those lines take you down to the bridge. The first assignment I had you capture emotions, and I wanted to share these pictures from my son and daughter-in-law's wedding. They were married in a hut, Silcock hut on the side of Mount Hood about 5 years ago. And the photographer was amazing. She was unbelievably good. Go to www.velvetelphotography.com. It's along the edge of the photos, and take a look at her work. She's amazing. But my son had two best men, his best male friend and his best female friend. That's Meg giving the best man speech, and obviously she's telling something that made Meg smile and made my son feel a little bit uncomfortable. But it's a great shot. It's not staged. It's got a lot of emotion. Notice how the background's blurred out. You can see that there's candles there, but it's not in focus. That helps make the people stand out a little bit. And look at Meg is a little bit out of focus as well, because she's not the focal point of it. Casey and Kate are. So I like the way she used aperture and to help make the two focal points stand out. And we'll talk more about aperture later on. And then I like the other photo because it just kind of captures the way they were with each other that day. It's not any staged photo with them standing side by side. She did do those, but she managed to capture intimate moments, and she was very good at it. She was also very good with light. Yes, she photoshopped this, but in order to get the basic shot, she waited for the sun to hit that golden hour, and then she ran around and took all sorts of shots, this being one of them. And then this one, which is probably my favorite of the bunch, that's Mount Jefferson off in the background, and they're standing on the side of Mount Hood, and that's the view we had. It pretty much follows the rule of thirds. The horizon where Mount Hood or Mount Jefferson is and the cloud line follows that horizontal third, and where they are is pretty close to the vertical third line, and Jefferson's pretty much, maybe if she stepped two more steps over, it could have hit more of the third line, but I think she was looking for that background. So we try to aim for the third lines, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Anyway, that's how I wanted to get started today. I'm going to do another video here in a few minutes talking about aperture and speed and ISO, which are all important components of photography. Anyway, that gets me done for this part. I will be back again in a few. See ya.